Welcome back to the channel, my friends. Today I'm about to share something so powerful, yet so incredibly simple that it might just change your financial future forever. Has this ever happened to you? You've tried everything: budgeting apps, investment strategies, side hustles, yet money still seems to slip through your fingers like water? I've been there too, and what I discovered transformed not just my bank account, but my entire relationship with wealth. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to effortlessly attract money while others struggle no matter how hard they work? What if I told you that the difference between financial struggle and abundance could be as simple as writing 3 digits on a piece of paper tonight? But before we begin, please hit the like button and let me know where in the world you're watching from today. It's always fascinating seeing who's joining us from around the globe. And if you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of our future videos. Now, let me ask you something important. What if the key to financial abundance has been hiding in plain sight all along? Tonight, I'm inviting you to do something that might seem almost too simple to believe. I want you to take a single piece of paper and write the numbers 777 on it. That's it, just 3 sevens. But what happens next might astonish you. You see, this isn't some random superstition or get-rich-quick scheme. What I'm sharing with you operates on fundamental, universal laws that speak directly to your subconscious mind. The number 777 carries a specific vibrational frequency, the frequency of completion, of divine perfection, of abundance realized. When you write these digits with intention, you're activating forces far more powerful than most people ever realize exist. Stay with me until the end of this video, because what you're about to discover might completely change how you understand the connection between consciousness and wealth creation. This simple practice bypasses your conscious doubts, all those limiting beliefs telling you money is hard to come by, or I'll never be financially free, and speaks directly to the part of your mind that actually creates your reality. I've seen this work for people from all walks of life, from struggling single parents to burned-out professionals, from young entrepreneurs to retirees worried about their financial security. The results often appear in the most unexpected ways: sudden job offers, surprising refunds, forgotten investments that suddenly pay off, or business opportunities that seem to materialize out of nowhere. The fascinating thing about writing 777 is that it's not about the physical act itself. It's about what happens in your consciousness when you do it with proper understanding and intention. It's about tapping into the invisible realm where all physical manifestation begins, including the manifestation of money. What if I told you that wealth isn't something you chase, but something you allow? That financial abundance isn't about striving harder, but about aligning your consciousness with the frequency of prosperity that already exists all around you? The simple act of writing 777 on paper tonight could be the key that unlocks the floodgates, allowing wealth to rush into your life like an unstoppable tide. But here's the crucial part that most people miss when trying to manifest abundance. They don't understand the hidden language that the universe speaks. This isn't just about positive thinking or vision boards. This is about tapping into the ancient wisdom that has been concealed from the masses for centuries. If you're resonating with these powerful manifestation techniques, hit that subscribe button now to access more life-changing wisdom that can transform your financial reality. Join our growing community of abundance creators who are changing their lives one practice at a time. See, the number 777 isn't random. It represents the perfect symbol of abundance and completion, carrying a vibrational frequency that resonates deeply with your subconscious mind. When ancient wisdom keepers and spiritual masters talked about sacred geometry and divine mathematics, they weren't speaking in metaphors. They were revealing fundamental truths about how reality is constructed. The journey to financial transformation begins with understanding that numbers aren't merely marks on a page or tools for calculation. They're living symbols that speak a language far deeper than words could ever express. Your rational mind might dismiss this as nonsense, but your subconscious, that powerful 95% of your mind that actually runs your life, responds instinctively to their spiritual vibration. This revelation changed everything for me. I realized that when I write 777 with clear intention, I'm essentially tuning my mind to the exact frequency of prosperity. It's like adjusting the dial on a radio to receive the perfect station. Suddenly, the static clears and the broadcast of abundance comes through with crystal clarity. Think about it. We use symbols every day without questioning their power. The logo of a luxury brand instantly triggers feelings of quality and status. A heart symbol immediately evokes emotions of love and connection. The mindset shift comes when you realize that certain numerical combinations work the same way, but at an even deeper level of consciousness. When I first discovered this hidden truth, I was skeptical. My logical mind fought against it, demanding evidence and proof. But the impact was undeniable. Within days of beginning this practice, unexpected checks arrived in the mail, forgotten debts were repaid to me, and opportunities seemed to materialize out of nowhere. The beauty in this approach is its simplicity. You don't need complex rituals or expensive courses to access this power. The universe doesn't demand struggle or sacrifice to grant you wealth. The decision to align with abundance is yours to make right now with nothing more than a pen and paper. Now I want to go even deeper into this topic by explaining exactly why 777 holds such extraordinary significance. Throughout human history, across diverse spiritual traditions from Christianity to numerology, 7 has represented divine completion. It's the number where creation rests, where cycles fulfill themselves, where perfection is achieved. And when you triple this power into 777, you're essentially creating a magnified field of completion around your financial life. If what I'm sharing resonates with something deep inside you, something that recognizes truth beyond logical explanation, write "abundance activated" in the comments below. Let me take you deeper into why this practice holds such transformative power. Throughout ancient scripture and sacred texts across diverse cultures, the number 7 has consistently represented divine completion. Think about it. In the biblical creation story, God created the world in 6 days, and on the 7th day, he rested. Why? Because the work was finished, complete, lacking nothing. This wasn't just a religious metaphor, it was revealing a profound cosmic pattern that exists in our reality. When you write 777, you're essentially invoking this powerful symbol of "it is done," not once, but 3 times, dramatically magnifying its effect on your subconscious. This repetition creates a resonance that penetrates the deepest layers of your mind, where your financial blueprint is stored. The impact of this simple act goes far beyond what most conventional wealth strategies could ever achieve. Here's where the mindset revolution begins. When you write those 3 sevens, you're not making a wish or setting a goal for some distant future. You're making a declaration to the universe that your prosperity is already complete in the realm of pure potential. You're shifting from the energy of hoping, wanting, and lacking to the energy of knowing, having, and being. This revelation completely transformed my journey with money. I realized I had been approaching wealth creation backward my entire life. I was always chasing, striving, pushing, trapped in the mindset of, when I have money, then I'll feel abundant. But the hidden truth is that the feeling must come first. The state of completion must be assumed before the physical manifestation can appear. When you write 777 with this understanding, you're essentially saying to the universe, "It is done. It is finished. I rest regarding my financial desires." This declaration carries immense creative power because it aligns you with the natural order of manifestation, first in consciousness, then in physical reality. Think about how differently you move through the world when you genuinely feel that your financial needs are already met. Your decisions come from abundance rather than scarcity. Your energy shifts from desperate to magnetic. Opportunities see you differently because you see yourself differently. This isn't magical thinking. It's working with the fundamental principles that govern how reality forms around your consciousness. The most fascinating aspect of this practice is that you're not hoping for money. You're acknowledging it as already yours in the realm of completion. Just as an architect sees the finished building in their mind before the first brick is laid, you're seeing your financial abundance as completed, before it appears in your bank account. And just as the building will follow the architect's vision, your financial reality will follow your inner conviction. This principle of resting in completion rather than striving in lack represents one of the most powerful paradigm shifts you can make on your path to prosperity. If you've already written your 777, leave "financial freedom declared" in the comments. I'd love to hear about your revelations as this process unfolds for you. Now, I want to share with you one of the most counterintuitive principles I've discovered on my wealth journey. In our hustle culture, we're constantly told that more effort equals more results. Work harder, push more, sleep less, and the money will come. But I've found exactly the opposite to be true when it comes to manifesting abundance. Here's the profound paradox. Rest is actually the surest sign of faith. When you truly believe something is already yours, you don't strain for it, you don't beg for it. You simply rest in the assurance of the finished work. Think about it. You don't strain to make the sun rise tomorrow because you have complete faith that it will happen. You rest in that certainty. The same principle applies to your financial breakthrough. The catalyst for my own transformation came when I realized that my constant striving, worrying, and obsessing over money was actually pushing wealth away from me. It was broadcasting to the universe, "I don't have enough. I'm desperate. I lack." And the universe, being the perfect mirror that it is, simply reflected that state back to me in my financial circumstances. The revelation that changed everything was this: striving comes from a place of lack, while resting comes from a place of completion. When you write 777 with understanding, you're giving yourself permission to step into that place of restful certainty about your prosperity. You're saying, "I no longer need to chase money, it now chases me." This mindset shift might seem subtle, but its impact on your financial reality is nothing short of revolutionary. Your nervous system relaxes, your energy field expands, and you begin making decisions from a completely different state of being. Opportunities that were always there suddenly become visible to you because you're no longer blinded by the fog of lack and desperation. Let's go even deeper into the core truth. Wealth is nothing more than the visible reflection of your inner state of completeness. Poverty, on the other hand, is simply the outward confession of inner lack. Your financial reality isn't creating your inner state, it's mirroring it. The bank account, the bills, the debt, the investments, they're all just reflecting back to you what you truly believe about yourself and your relationship with abundance. This is why the 777 code works at such a profound level. It's not just changing your thoughts about money, it's reprogramming your entire inner world from a state of lack to a state of completeness. And when that inner state shifts, your outer world of money must follow suit. It has no choice, because the inner always creates the outer. I've watched this principle transform not just my life, but the lives of thousands who have applied it. People who had been struggling financially for decades suddenly finding themselves in a flow of abundance that seemed to come from nowhere. But it wasn't from nowhere. It was from within. If you're beginning to see how your inner state creates your financial reality, type "inner creates outer" in the comments. I'm curious to know who among you is ready for this deeper level of financial mastery. Let me share something fascinating about this practice that most people completely miss. When you write 777 with intention, you're not just affecting your finances in isolation. You're actually impressing upon your subconscious the pattern of fullness in every area of life simultaneously. This is because your subconscious doesn't compartmentalize your life the way your conscious mind does. Think of your subconscious like a vast, interconnected ecosystem. When you introduce the vibration of completion and abundance in one area, it naturally begins to ripple through the entire system. I've witnessed this phenomenon countless times. People begin the 777 practice for financial transformation, but suddenly their relationships improve, health concerns resolve, and new opportunities appear in completely unexpected areas of life. This happens because of a profound truth. Lack is a mindset that infects everything it touches, and abundance works the same way. When you shift from a consciousness of lack to a consciousness of fullness in your finances, that same pattern begins to replicate itself throughout your entire reality. It's like dropping a pebble of abundance into the pond of your life. The ripples touch everything. Now let's explore the deeper revelation behind why this practice works so powerfully. Most people have been taught that money comes primarily from hard work, careful planning, or lucky breaks. But here's the paradigm shift that changes everything. Imagination is the true creative power in the universe. Every single thing you can see or touch in your world, from skyscrapers to smartphones, began as a simple image in someone's mind before it manifested in physical reality. The journey to financial freedom doesn't end here. Subscribe to this channel now to discover more hidden codes and ancient techniques that the wealthy have used for generations. Every video is another key to unlocking your unlimited prosperity. This principle applies to your wealth as well. Money doesn't materialize from nowhere. It flows from the invisible realm of imagination first, then into your visible experience. When you write 777, you're not just performing a ritual. You're activating your imaginative faculty in a specific direction. You're essentially telling your subconscious mind, imagine complete abundance now. And your subconscious, which cannot distinguish between imagination and reality, begins to create the pathways for that abundance to materialize. The journey of transformation happens because this practice bypasses your conscious mind's doubts and limitations. Your rational mind might say, "But I only have $43 in my account," while your imagination, activated by the 777 code, is already experiencing the reality of abundance. And since your imagination is connected to the infinite, creative power of the universe, it has the final word on what manifests in your life. I remember working with a client who was skeptical about this whole approach. He had a practical, logical mind and couldn't see how writing numbers on paper would change his financial situation. But after experiencing the unexpected windfall that came within days of beginning the practice, he called me in amazement. "It's not just about the money," he said. "It's like a weight has been lifted from my entire life." That's the revelation most people miss. This isn't just a technique for manifesting cash. It's a gateway to a completely different state of being, where you recognize yourself as a creative force rather than a passive recipient of circumstances. If you're beginning to sense the creative power of your own imagination, write "Creator Mode Activated" in the comments below. Let me take you on a journey to understand something profound about the world around you. Look around for a moment. Everything you see, your phone, the chair you're sitting on, the building you're in, all of these things existed first as nothing more than an idea, an image in someone's mind before they materialized in physical form. This is the fundamental blueprint for all creation, and your financial breakthrough follows the exact same pattern. Your wealth, your abundance, your financial freedom, all of it exists right now in the realm of pure potential, waiting to be imagined vividly enough to cross the bridge into your physical reality. Most people spend their entire lives trying to build this bridge from the wrong direction. They look at their empty bank account and try to imagine it full, which is like trying to push a river uphill. The breakthrough comes when you realize that imagination doesn't follow reality. Reality follows imagination. Your financial situation tomorrow is being shaped by the images you hold in your mind today. The 777 ritual works so powerfully because it helps you bridge these worlds. When you write these numbers with full awareness, you're essentially placing one foot in the realm where your abundance already exists while keeping the other in your current reality, creating a direct channel between the two. I've experienced this phenomenon in my own life in ways that defied logical explanation. Money appeared from sources I couldn't have predicted or planned for. Opportunities opened that seemed to materialize out of thin air. Looking back, I can see that the shift happened first in my imagination, and reality simply reshaped itself to match that inner vision. Now, let's explore the most fascinating aspect of why this works. Modern neuroscience has confirmed what ancient wisdom traditions have taught for centuries, that your conscious mind, the part of you reading these words and thinking about them, controls only about 5% of your decisions and experiences. The other 95% is driven by your subconscious, that vast, hidden part of your mind that operates beneath your awareness. Here's where the hidden truth lies. Most conventional approaches to financial improvement, affirmations, vision boards, even goal setting, often fail because they only engage that 5%. They never penetrate to the control center where your financial reality is actually being created. It's like trying to steer an ocean liner by moving a deck chair. Symbols like 777 work differently. They bypass your conscious mind's analytical filters and speak directly to your subconscious in its native language. Your subconscious doesn't understand complex arguments or even words the way your conscious mind does. It responds to symbols, emotions, and patterns. When you write 777 with intention, you're essentially slipping past the critical gatekeepers of your conscious mind and delivering a direct command to your financial control center. This explains why people who've struggled for years with conventional approaches suddenly experience dramatic breakthroughs with this practice. They're finally communicating with the part of their mind that actually shapes their financial reality. The transformation often feels miraculous, but it's actually just accessing the natural creative mechanism that's been within you all along. If you've ever experienced a moment when your mind felt completely aligned with your desires, with no internal resistance or doubt, share alignment achieved in the comments. I'd love to hear about those powerful moments of congruence in your life. Now let me share with you what I believe is the crucial distinction that separates those who see miraculous results with this practice from those who don't. When most people attempt techniques like this, they approach it from a place of desperation, hoping, wishing, praying that somehow it will work. They write the numbers with trembling hands and doubt-filled minds, essentially saying to the universe, "I'm trying this because nothing else has worked, but I don't really believe it." Will. This approach sabotages the very power they're trying to access. The revelation that transformed my own results was understanding that the 777 must be written not as one who hopes, but as one who knows and declares with absolute certainty. The power isn't in the digits themselves. It's in the state of mind from which you write them. Imagine for a moment a king signing a royal decree. He doesn't question whether his command will be fulfilled. He doesn't hope it might work. He simply signs with absolute certainty, knowing his word is law. This is the exact state of consciousness from which your 777 must be written, a state of unwavering faith and certainty in your prosperity. This mindset shift might seem subtle, but it represents the boundary between two completely different dimensions of manifestation. One operates from lack, the other from fullness. One begs, the other declares. One hopes, the other knows. And the universe responds accordingly to each. Let me take you even deeper into the hidden mechanics of abundance. Through years of studying both ancient wisdom and modern psychology, I've discovered a fundamental truth that explains why some people remain financially stuck despite their best efforts. Money responds not to need or want, but to your self-concept, your core sense of who you truly are. This revelation completely transforms how we approach wealth creation. If you identify as someone who struggles with money, who never has quite enough, who isn't the type who attracts abundance, that identity will override any technique, strategy, or opportunity that comes your way. Your financial reality will always align itself with your deepest self-image. This is where the true power of writing 777 becomes evident. Beyond the symbolic communication with your subconscious, this practice helps you identify with wealth as your natural state. Each time you write those numbers with certainty, you're essentially declaring, "This is who I am, a being of abundance. You're transforming your self-image from one of lack to one of prosperity, and your outer world must reorganize itself to reflect this new identity. I've witnessed this identity shift create financial miracles that defy logical explanation. A client who had struggled with money her entire life began this practice, and within weeks, not only did unexpected money appear, but her entire relationship with wealth transformed. For the first time, she told me, I feel like money belongs to me. Like abundance is my birthright rather than something I have to fight for. That's the profound catalyst for lasting transformation. Not just changing what you do, but changing who you believe yourself to be. When abundance becomes your identity rather than just your goal, you've altered the foundation upon which your entire financial reality is built. If you're ready to embrace abundance as your identity rather than just your goal, write "Wealth is my nature" in the comments. I'd love to know who among you is ready for this profound identity shift. Now let me reveal one of the most fascinating aspects of this process. What happens after you've written 777 with certainty and impressed it upon your subconscious? This is where the magic truly begins to unfold in your visible reality, through what is called the bridge of incidents. The bridge of incidents is a term that describes how the universe orchestrates a series of seemingly random events, each one bringing you closer to the manifestation of your desire. Once you've planted the seed of abundance by writing 777, this bridge begins to form automatically, without your conscious planning or manipulation. You might receive an unexpected phone call from someone you haven't spoken to in years, offering you an opportunity. Or perhaps you'll feel a sudden intuitive nudge to visit a place you normally wouldn't go, where you'll meet exactly the right person at the right time. A book might fall from a shelf, opening to exactly the page you needed to read. What appears as coincidence is actually this intelligent universal force creating the perfect pathway between your current financial reality and the abundance you've declared with your 777 code. The revelation that transformed my understanding was realizing I didn't need to figure out how my financial breakthrough would occur. My only job was to impress the end result upon my subconscious through the 777 practice, and then follow the intuitive nudges that naturally arose. The bridge builds itself. I just needed to walk across it as it appeared before me. This brings us to a profound insight about why most people remain financially stuck despite their best intentions. The hidden truth is that most people stay poor for one primary reason. They keep telling the same story of lack day after day, year after year. Your financial reality doesn't persist because of external circumstances. It persists because you unconsciously reinforce it through your habitual thoughts, feelings, and expectations. Think of your current financial situation as a groove that's been worn into the record of your subconscious mind through years of repetition. No matter how much you consciously want to change it, that groove keeps playing the same melody of lack. This is why conventional approaches to financial improvement often fail. They don't change the record. They just try to ignore the music while it continues to play. The 777 practice works at the level of cause rather than effect. It interrupts the pattern at its source by creating a new groove in your subconscious, a groove of abundance, completion, and prosperity. Each time you write those numbers with conviction, you're essentially saying to your deeper mind, play this new song instead. And as that new melody takes hold, your external circumstances have no choice but to dance to the new rhythm. I've witnessed this pattern interruption create profound transformations for people who had been financially stuck for decades. One moment they're caught in the same cycles of lack they've always known, and the next, after committing to this practice, the pattern suddenly breaks and a completely new financial reality begins to emerge. The journey of transformation often begins with this simple decision: to stop reinforcing the old story and to deliberately impress a new pattern upon the subconscious. If you're ready to break the cycle of lack that's been playing in your life, write "pattern interrupted" in the comments. I'd love to know who's ready for this powerful reset. Let me share with you one of the most profound revelations I've encountered on my journey of manifestation. a principle that completely transformed how I understand wealth creation. Here it is. Everyone you meet, every person who enters your financial sphere is actually yourself pushed out. They are mirrors reflecting back to you your own inner beliefs and expectations about money. This might sound mystical, but it's actually a practical phenomenon that psychologists and spiritual teachers alike have observed. When you hold lack-based beliefs about money internally, the people in your life respond to you from that same energy. Clients haggle over your rates, employers undervalue your work, opportunities dry up, not because of some external conspiracy, but because they're all responding to the financial vibration you're unconsciously broadcasting. The revelation that changed everything for me was understanding that the 777 code actually changes how others respond to you financially. As your inner state shifts from lack to abundance through this practice, people will spontaneously begin to offer you money, opportunities, and resources, often without you even asking. A client suddenly decides to pay you more than your asking price. A stranger feels inspired to connect you with a lucrative opportunity. Someone remembers an old debt they owe you and pays it unexpectedly. These aren't random coincidences. They're direct reflections of your transformed inner relationship with abundance. The people in your life are simply responding to the new frequency you're broadcasting after impressing 777 upon your subconscious. They can't help but treat you differently because they're experiencing a different version of you. I remember working with a business owner who had been struggling to attract clients who would pay his full rate. Everyone wanted discounts or free work. After beginning the 777 practice, within weeks, he noticed something remarkable. Not only were new clients happily paying his full rate, but several were spontaneously offering more than he asked, saying they felt his services were worth it. Nothing in his external business had changed, only his inner relationship with receiving. Now, let me share with you a crucial insight about timing that will maximize the power of this practice. The optimal moment to write 777 is just before sleep, when your subconscious mind is most receptive to new programming. During this twilight state between wakefulness and sleep, the critical, analytical faculties of your conscious mind begin to relax their guard, providing direct access to the deeper levels of mind where your financial blueprint is stored. Neuroscience has confirmed what ancient traditions have taught for centuries, that the brain enters specific states before sleep that make it incredibly receptive to suggestion and imprinting. When you write 777 in this state, with clear intention and certainty, you're essentially uploading new financial software directly into your subconscious when the firewall is down. This timing element can't be overstated. Many people attempt manifestation practices at random times throughout the day, when their mind is cluttered with the noise of daily life and their critical faculties are on high alert. By specifically choosing this twilight moment before sleep, you're working with the natural rhythms of consciousness to maximize impact. I suggest placing a pen and paper by your bedside specifically for this purpose. As you lie down, just before drifting off, write 777 with clear intention, feel the certainty of your financial abundance, and then allow yourself to fall asleep, carrying that vibration into your deeper mind. If you're recognizing how your outer financial world has been reflecting your inner beliefs, write "Mirror Principle Understood" in the comments. I'm curious to hear from those of you who are seeing this reflection in your own lives. There's an element to this practice that I haven't yet revealed, perhaps the most crucial component that determines whether writing 777 will transform your financial reality or simply become another failed attempt at manifestation. It's the emotional dimension of this process, and it cannot be overlooked. After you write 777, there comes a sacred moment where you must do something that seems counterintuitive to most people. You must allow yourself to feel the profound relief and absolute certainty that your financial problems are already solved. Not that they will be solved tomorrow or next week or when the money appears, but that they are solved now, in this very moment. This emotional shift isn't just a nice addition to the practice. It's the very engine that powers it. Your subconscious doesn't respond primarily to your words or even to the symbols you write. It responds to the emotional vibration you embody. You must feel wealthy after writing the code, experiencing the genuine relief and authentic joy of financial freedom as if it's already yours. I remember the breakthrough moment in my own journey when I finally understood this principle. For months, I had been writing affirmations and symbols, including 777, but still feeling the underlying anxiety about my finances. One night, something shifted. After writing 777, I allowed myself to fully surrender into the feeling that it was done, that my financial struggles were over. The relief that washed over me was so profound that I actually wept. It wasn't pretending or visualizing, it was a genuine emotional liberation. Within days, the external circumstances began to shift in ways I couldn't have orchestrated if I'd tried. This experience revealed a fundamental truth that the wealthy have always understood intuitively. Money is spiritual before it's physical. It must exist in consciousness, in your emotional and spiritual awareness, before it can manifest in your bank account. Most people have this backwards. They believe they'll feel abundant when they have money, but the universe operates in the reverse order. You must embody the feeling first, and then the physical manifestation follows. The 777 practice acknowledges this principle and works with it rather than against it. When you write these numbers with the full emotional spectrum of relief, certainty, and joy, as if your financial problems are already solved, you're acknowledging that real wealth begins as a spiritual reality before materializing in your bank account. You're aligning yourself with how money actually works at the quantum level. Think of it like this. The universe doesn't give you what you want. It gives you what you are. When you embody the vibration of financial freedom emotionally after writing 777, you're not just asking for wealth, you're becoming wealth. You're transforming your energetic signature to match what you desire to attract. This revelation transforms the 777. Practice from a mere ritual into a profound opportunity for inner transformation. It's not just about changing your circumstances, it's about changing the emotional foundation from which you operate. When anxiety about money is replaced with the genuine feeling of, it is done, you've altered your point of attraction at the most fundamental level. If you've ever experienced that profound sense of relief when a financial burden was lifted, drop "freedom felt" in the comments. There's something uniquely powerful about that emotional signature that I'd love to explore further with you. Now, let me share with you one of the most challenging aspects of this journey, an element that tests the spiritual maturity of everyone who walks this path. After you've written 777 and embodied the feeling of financial completion, there comes a sacred period that few understand properly: the waiting period. This isn't passive waiting or anxious anticipation. This is active trust, a profound surrender to the invisible processes now at work in your reality. You must be patient after writing 777, trusting the process with the same quiet confidence you would have after planting a seed in fertile soil. Consider for a moment how a farmer works. He doesn't plant a seed and then dig it up every day to check if it's growing. He doesn't stand over the soil shouting at it to hurry up. He trusts the invisible process happening beneath the surface, knowing that the seed contains everything needed for its own fulfillment. Financial manifestation follows these same natural laws. The moment you write 777 with feeling and conviction, you've planted the seed of prosperity in the fertile soil of your subconscious. Now you must allow the necessary time for your abundance to develop its roots, stem, and finally break through the surface into your visible experience. The hidden revelation I've discovered is that this waiting period isn't just a passive gap between asking and receiving. It's actually an active part of the manifestation process itself. During this time, the universe is rearranging circumstances, inspiring the right people, and creating the perfect conditions for your prosperity to emerge. Your only job is to maintain the unwavering faith that it is done, even when your eyes don't yet see the evidence. This brings us to a profound insight about why some people remain financially limited despite understanding these principles. The fundamental difference between those who manifest prosperity and those who don't lies in where they place their attention during this crucial period. People who stay financially restricted tend to obsess over the when and the how instead of resting in the certainty of the end result. They write 777 one day, then wake up the next morning looking for evidence, wondering when the money will appear and how it will come. This focus on timing and method actually pushes the manifestation further away because it broadcasts doubt to the universe. It says, "I don't really believe it's done." The 777 code, when properly understood, frees you from this obsession with the mechanics of manifestation. It puts you in the state of already having your financial desires fulfilled, which is the very state that allows them to materialize. When you truly rest in completion, you no longer need to know when or how. You simply know it is done, and that knowing is unshakable regardless of temporary appearances. I've walked alongside countless individuals through this delicate period, witnessing the inner battle between faith and doubt. Those who maintain their certainty during this gestation period inevitably experience their breakthrough, while those who revert to questioning and anxiety extend their waiting time unnecessarily. Remember, the universe doesn't reward need or want. It responds to your unwavering conviction in the finished result. If you've written your 777 and you're currently in this sacred waiting period, share divine timing. Trusted in the comments. I'd love to support you through this crucial phase of your manifestation journey. Let me reveal what I believe is the single greatest obstacle standing between you and the wealth you desire. It's not the economy, not your background, not your education or connections. It's something far more fundamental and yet completely within your power to change. Your self-concept. Your old self-concept is the only true barrier between you and wealth. And writing 777 helps you put on what spiritual traditions have called the new man. This insight completely transformed my understanding of financial transformation. I realized it wasn't primarily about strategies or tactics, it was about identity shift. As long as I continued to see myself as someone who struggled with money, who never quite had enough, who didn't deserve abundance, that self-image would override any technique or opportunity that came my way. The 777 practice works so powerfully because it helps you shed this old self-image of lack and embody your new prosperous identity. Each time you write those numbers with conviction, you're essentially declaring, "I am no longer the person who struggles financially. I am now someone for whom abundance flows naturally." This isn't positive thinking or wishful fantasy. It's a profound reimagining of who you are at your core. Behind the scenes of every financial breakthrough I've witnessed was this same pattern. Someone who made the decision to step out of their old identity and into a new one. A woman who'd been in debt her entire adult life began the 777 practice, but with an important distinction. She stopped seeing herself as a person trying to get out of debt and started experiencing herself as a naturally wealthy person who is already free. Within months, her entire financial reality transformed to match this new self-concept. Now, I want to go even deeper into the mechanics of how this actually works in your life. There's a universal principle that few people truly understand. The facts of your life are not fixed and independent realities. They're malleable reflections that arrange themselves according to your dominant emotional state. When you assume the feeling of wealth now, not when the money appears, but now, the facts of your life have no choice but to rearrange themselves to match that feeling. This revelation completely overthrows conventional wisdom about cause and effect. Most people believe they must have money first in order to feel wealthy. But the universe operates in the opposite direction. You must feel wealthy first, and then the money appears as a reflection of that inner state. The 777 ritual serves as a powerful anchor that helps you maintain this feeling of wealth consistently until it materializes in your bank account. I've seen this principle work with such precision that it sometimes appears miraculous. A client who had been struggling financially for years began the 757 practice with this understanding. Rather than focusing on paying bills or getting out of debt, she focused entirely on embodying the feeling of abundant wealth, the peace, the certainty, the joy. Within weeks, opportunities began appearing that she couldn't have orchestrated if she tried, each one moving her closer to the financial reality that matched her inner state. The journey of manifestation is really a journey of becoming in your consciousness what you desire to experience in your reality. If you've begun to understand that your financial transformation requires becoming a new version of yourself, write "new identity embraced" in the comments. I'm curious to connect with those who are ready for this profound shift in self-concept. Let me share with you a profound shift in perspective that completely transforms how manifestation works in your life. When you write 777, you're not actually trying to get something new from outside yourself. You're doing something far more powerful. You're recognizing what you already possess. This revelation changed everything in my own journey when I realized that true manifestation isn't acquisition, but recognition. Most people approach wealth creation as if they're trying to attract something they don't have, reaching for a reality that exists somewhere out there, separate from themselves. But the deeper truth that mystics and masters have understood for centuries is that abundance is your birthright, already completed in the spiritual realm. The 777 Code serves as a powerful tool that helps you see and acknowledge this pre-existing completeness. It's like someone who has been living in a mansion but has been confined to a small closet, believing that's all there is. The 777 practice doesn't build a new mansion. It simply opens the door so you can step out and recognize the vast abundance that was already yours all along. Your prosperity isn't something to be created. It's something to be revealed. This shift from trying to get to recognizing what is releases an enormous amount of resistance from your manifestation process. You're no longer pushing against lack or fighting for abundance. You're simply acknowledging the natural state of prosperity that is your divine inheritance. The instant relief that comes with this recognition is palpable. Many describe it as finally putting down a heavy burden they didn't even realize they were carrying. Now, I want to go even deeper into the mechanics of how your financial reality actually forms around you. Here's the revelation that transformed my entire understanding. The outer world of money, your bank account, your income, your investments, your opportunities, is just a shadow reflecting your inner world of beliefs and identity. Your financial situation isn't creating your inner state. It's merely mirroring back your consciousness with perfect precision. Think of your mind as a projector in a movie theater. The financial reality you experience is merely the image being projected onto the screen. Most people spend their entire lives trying to change the image on the screen while leaving the projector untouched. They try new jobs, new investments, new strategies, all while maintaining the same inner beliefs about themselves and money. The 797 practice works at the level of cause rather than effect. It changes the projector itself, your consciousness, not just the projection. When you write those numbers with understanding and feeling, you're adjusting the inner film that determines what appears on the screen of your life. And when the projector changes, the image must change. It has no choice. I've witnessed this principle transform the lives of people who had been struggling financially for decades. One client had tried every external strategy imaginable: budgeting, investing, side hustles, education, yet remained financially restricted. When she began using the 777 practice with this understanding, focusing entirely on changing her inner relationship with wealth, rather than manipulating external circumstances, her financial reality transformed with a speed and elegance that seemed miraculous. The journey to abundance begins with this recognition that your wealth exists first within you, and your outer world simply reflects this inner reality. If you're beginning to recognize that your financial abundance has been within you all along, just waiting to be acknowledged, write "inner wealth recognized" in the comments. I'd love to connect with those who are awakening to this profound truth about themselves. Let me address something I've observed in the spiritual and manifestation community that has troubled me for years. Most spiritual practices ultimately fail people because they're used as a means to escape reality instead of as tools to transform it. People meditate, chant affirmations, or perform rituals to feel better temporarily, but then return to the same limited consciousness that created their problems in the first place. This is where Writing 777 stands apart in a profound way. This practice isn't spiritual bypassing or empty ritual. It's practical spirituality that actually changes your material conditions by altering your consciousness at the root level. It doesn't take you away from reality. It gives you the tools to recreate reality from the inside out. The revelation that transformed my own journey was understanding that spirituality without practicality is just fantasy, and practicality without spirituality is just struggle. The 777 practice bridges these worlds, bringing the power of the invisible realm into direct contact with your visible, tangible financial circumstances. I've seen many people engage with spiritual practices, feel temporarily uplifted, and then wonder why their bank account remains unchanged. The missing piece was always the same. They weren't creating a consistent bridge between their spiritual insights and their material world. Writing 777 creates exactly this bridge, ensuring that your spiritual understanding directly impacts your financial reality. Now, I want to share something absolutely crucial about implementation that makes the difference between modest improvement and complete transformation. To experience the full power of this practice, you must write 777 daily for 30 consecutive days. This consistency is what completely reprograms your financial blueprint at the deepest level of consciousness. Think of it like this: your current financial reality is the result of a lifetime of programming about money, wealth, and your relationship to abundance. This programming runs deep in your subconscious and can't be overwritten with a single experience, no matter how powerful. Just as a fitness transformation requires consistent training over time, your financial consciousness requires consistent reimagining to be fully restructured. The impact of this 30-day commitment goes far beyond what most people imagine. Each day, as you write 777 with intention and feeling, you're carving a deeper groove in your consciousness, strengthening the neural pathways that support your new financial identity. By day 30, what began as a new pattern becomes your default setting, your natural way of being in relationship with abundance. I've guided thousands through this 30-day process, and the testimonials are nothing short of remarkable. People who began the month in financial distress ended it with completely different circumstances: unexpected income, new opportunities, resolved debts, and most importantly, a fundamentally different feeling about money itself. The journey of transformation happens in layers. During the first week, you'll likely notice subtle shifts in your awareness and small synchronicities appearing. By the second week, your emotional relationship with money begins to transform. Anxiety diminishes, certainty grows. In the third week, external circumstances typically begin to reflect your inner changes. And by the final week, many experience breakthrough moments that permanently alter their financial trajectory. This isn't just about manifesting a specific amount of money. It's about completely restructuring your relationship with abundance at the most fundamental level. If you're committed to giving this practice your full dedication for 30 days, write 30-day commitment in the comments. I'd love to witness your journey of transformation. Let me share with you a critical insight that explains why most wealth, affirmations, and manifestation practices fail, while the 777 code succeeds where they falter. The fundamental difference lies in your starting point. Most affirmations are unconsciously done from a state of lack. You repeat, "I am wealthy," or "money flows to me easily," precisely because you don't feel that way. You're trying to convince yourself of something you don't yet believe, and this internal contradiction sabotages the very results you're seeking. This revelation transformed my understanding of manifestation when I realized the 777 approach works from an entirely different foundation. It works from completion. Instead of starting in the middle of the process, desperately trying to reach for wealth, this practice begins at the end, with wealth already acknowledged as yours. It's the difference between begging for something and simply recognizing what already belongs to you. Think about the emotional difference between these two approaches. When you affirm from lack, there's an underlying anxiety, a subtle desperation that broadcasts to the universe. I need this because I don't have it. But when you write 777 from completion, there's a profound peace, a quiet certainty that says, I acknowledge what is already mine. The universe responds to these emotional frequencies with precision, reflecting back exactly what you're broadcasting. The journey of transformation begins with this shift in your starting position. Instead of seeing yourself as someone who lacks money and is trying to get it, you recognize yourself as already complete, with abundance as your natural state. This isn't denial or fantasy. It's aligning with a deeper truth about your relationship with universal supply. Now, I want to go even deeper into the fundamental mechanism that makes this practice so incredibly powerful. Behind all the techniques and principles we've discussed lies one core truth. Your imagination is the creative power that shapes reality. It's not just a mental faculty for daydreaming or visualization. It's the very force through which the universe expresses itself in your life. When you write 777 with clear intention and emotional conviction, you're not merely performing a symbolic ritual. You're issuing a direct command to the creative force of the universe to manifest prosperity in your life. You're activating your imaginative faculty in a specific direction, and that direction becomes a blueprint that reality must eventually follow. This understanding revolutionizes how you approach the practice. You're not hoping or wishing when you write those numbers. You're creating, as surely as an architect creates a building first in their imagination before it stands in physical form. The 777 code becomes a focal point that concentrates your creative power, directing it specifically toward financial abundance with laser-like precision. I've witnessed this creative power transform the lives of people who previously felt powerless over their financial circumstances. One client had spent years feeling like a victim of economic forces beyond her control. When she began the 777 practice with this understanding that her imagination was actually creating her reality, not just passively experiencing it, she stepped into her role as the architect of her financial world, rather than its prisoner. The shift in her circumstances followed with remarkable speed. The journey to abundance begins when you recognize that you are not at the mercy of external conditions. You are the creator of those conditions through the power of your imagination. If you're beginning to sense this creative power stirring within you as you contemplate the 777 practice, share Creator Awakening in the comments. I'd love to connect with those who are discovering this profound truth about themselves. Let me share with you what happens after you write 777, a crucial phase that most people completely overlook in their manifestation journey. Writing the E code is just the beginning, the catalyst that initiates the transformation. The real power comes in how you live afterward. You must continue to move through your days from the unwavering assumption that you are already wealthy. This doesn't mean making reckless financial decisions or pretending circumstances are different than they appear. It means making every choice, having every conversation, and approaching every situation from the inner state of someone who knows their abundance is secure. When you receive a bill, you don't react with anxiety. You respond with the calm certainty of someone who knows their supply is unlimited. When an opportunity presents itself, you evaluate it from prosperity consciousness rather than scarcity thinking. The revelation that transformed my understanding was realizing that manifestation isn't just about the moments of focused practice. It's about the consistent embodiment of your desired state throughout your daily life. The 777 code opens the door to this new state of being, but you must walk through it and continue living from that state for the full manifestation to appear. I remember working with a client who wrote 777 with perfect understanding and emotion, but then continued to make decisions from her old identity of financial struggle. She would carefully write the code each night, then wake up in the morning and immediately check her account with anxiety, speak about money with fear, and approach opportunities with hesitation. Despite her sincere practice, her manifestation seemed blocked. When she finally understood that she needed to maintain the state of wealth in her daily decisions and reactions, everything shifted. She began asking herself before each choice, how would the wealthy version of me respond to this? This simple question restructured her entire relationship with money, and within weeks, her external circumstances began to transform dramatically to match her new way of being. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic by revealing a powerful technique that works hand in hand with the 777 code to accelerate your financial transformation. This practice is called revision, and it addresses a critical obstacle that many overlook: the lingering energy of past financial failures that continues to influence your present reality. Most people don't realize that their subconscious mind doesn't distinguish between what actually happened and what is vividly imagined. Your past experiences of financial failure, disappointment, and lack have created deep grooves in your consciousness that continue to direct your manifestation energy, even as you try to create something new with the 777 practice. Revision allows you to literally rewrite your financial history in your imagination. For example, if you remember a time when you lost money on an investment, you can mentally revisit that scene and reimagine it with a different outcome, seeing yourself making a wise decision that resulted in profit instead of loss. If you recall being denied a loan or raise, revise the memory to one where you were enthusiastically approved. This isn't denial or fantasy. It's a deliberate reconditioning of your subconscious to clear the path for your new prosperity. When you combine the 777 practice with consistent revision of your financial history, you create a powerful alignment between your past, present, and future. You're essentially removing the energetic resistance caused by those old memories and creating a clear channel for abundance to flow. If you've had a past financial disappointment that still affects how you feel about money today, write "ready for revision" in the comments. Acknowledging these lingering influences is the first step toward transforming them. The impact of revision goes far deeper than most people realize. When you change your memory of past financial events, you're not just playing mental games, you're literally restructuring the energetic foundation that your present financial reality rests upon. This works because of a fascinating truth about your subconscious mind. It doesn't actually distinguish between events that physically happened and events that are vividly imagined with emotional intensity. This revelation completely transformed my approach to manifestation when I understood that my past wasn't fixed and immutable. It was fluid and responsive to my present consciousness. Every financial struggle, disappointment, or failure that I had carried in my memory was continuing to broadcast a signal of lack to the universe, even as I tried to create abundance with new practices. When you combine revision with the 777 code, you create a consistent signal of wealth that flows uninterrupted from your past, through your present, and into your future. It's like tuning every station on your radio to the same frequency. The broadcast becomes clear, powerful, and unmistakable. The universe has no choice but to respond with the reflection of that signal in your material circumstances. I remember working with a businessman who had experienced a devastating financial loss years earlier. Despite his sincere efforts with the 777 practice, his manifestations seemed limited and inconsistent. When we discovered that he was still carrying the emotional weight of that past failure, still seeing it vividly in his mind and feeling the disappointment each time he thought of it, we understood the blockage. He began systematically revising that memory, seeing the situation unfold differently, feeling the joy and relief of a successful outcome instead. The shift in his energy was immediate and palpable. Within weeks, opportunities began appearing that mirrored his revised memory. Situations where potential loss turned to unexpected gain, where apparent dead ends opened into pathways of abundance. Now, I want to reveal an insight about the 777 practice that completely transforms its effectiveness. the secret to its power isn't in the physical manifestation of specific dollar amounts. It's in accessing and maintaining the emotional reality of financial freedom. Most people focus exclusively on the outer forms, the exact amount in their bank account, the specific possessions they want to acquire, the precise numbers on their investment statements. This approach actually limits the manifestation because it creates a narrow channel for abundance to flow through. The breakthrough comes when you shift your focus to the feeling of the wish. Fulfilled, the emotional signature of living with complete financial freedom. What does it feel like to wake up without money worries? What does it feel like to make decisions without checking your bank balance first? What does it feel like to give generously without calculating the impact on your finances? The 777 code works most powerfully when you use it to access and maintain these feelings, rather than fixating on particular dollar amounts. Your subconscious responds primarily to emotion, not to numbers or concepts. When you write 777 while embodying the deep feeling of financial liberation, the peace, the certainty, the joy, the freedom, you're sending a pure, undiluted signal that attracts circumstances matching that exact emotional frequency. Think of it like tuning a radio to pick up a specific station. The emotional reality you embody is the frequency you're broadcasting, and the universe responds by bringing you experiences that match that exact frequency. If you're experiencing resistance in your manifestation journey, drop "feeling is the secret" in the comments. This emotional dimension is often the missing piece that unlocks everything else. Let me share a profound truth that completely transformed my understanding of wealth creation. Every single manifestation of abundance you see in the material world, every fortune, every empire, every financial success story began first as a state of consciousness before it materialized in physical form. The outer. Prosperity is always preceded by an inner state that matches it perfectly. This revelation changes everything about how you approach manifestation. If you've been focusing primarily on the external methods of wealth creation, investments, business models, career paths, you've been working at the level of effect rather than cause. The true creative power lies in the state of consciousness you occupy, and the 777 practice helps you access and maintain precisely the state that naturally attracts wealth. Money, in its essence, isn't actually the goal. It's just the physical symbol of an inner state. It's the material representation of an energetic frequency you're broadcasting. When you write 777 with understanding and emotional conviction, you're not primarily calling money to you. You're calibrating your consciousness to the frequency of abundance, and the money follows as a natural reflection of that frequency. I remember the profound shift that happened in my own life when I finally understood this principle. For years, I had been chasing money through various external strategies, each one promising to be the answer. But when I began working directly with my state of consciousness through practices like writing 777, I discovered that money flowed with remarkable ease, not because I had found the right strategy, but because I had embodied the right state. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic by revealing what I believe is the ultimate purpose behind this entire practice. While the financial transformation is powerful and life-changing, it's actually just the doorway to a much greater revelation. The true gift of the 777 practice isn't the money itself. It's the discovery that your imagination is divine creative power. As you witness your financial reality transforming in response to your inner work, something profound begins to dawn on you. You start to recognize that the creative force shaping your experience isn't separate from you. It is you. Your imagination isn't just a mental faculty for daydreaming or visualization. It's the very power through which the universe expresses itself in your life. This awakening to your true nature as a creative force is the real treasure, far more valuable than any amount of money that could appear in your bank account. Beyond the financial benefits, the 777 practice gradually reveals your capacity to manifest anything you can imagine, not just prosperity. It's like discovering that you've been holding the master key to reality itself without realizing it. I've guided thousands through this journey, and I've watched as they moved from initial excitement about financial improvement to a profound spiritual awakening. One client described it perfectly. I came to this practice wanting money, but what I received was the revelation of who I truly am. The wealth was wonderful, but discovering my own creative power was transformative beyond words. This journey ultimately leads to a freedom that transcends financial independence, the freedom that comes from knowing yourself as the author of your experience rather than its victim. If you're sensing that this practice might be about something much deeper than just improving your finances, share Awakening to Power in the comments. I'd love to connect with those who are intuiting the profound spiritual dimension of this work. Let me share with you a profound shift in perspective that transforms the entire foundation of wealth creation. Most people approach abundance from the position of a supplicant, someone humbly begging for money from forces outside themselves. They pray, they hope, they wish, they plead with the universe to please send some financial relief their way. This mindset of supplication keeps them perpetually in a state of lack, always on the outside, looking in at the abundance they desire. The revolutionary insight that changed everything in my journey was understanding that when you use the 777 code correctly, you're not positioning yourself as a creature begging for money. You're standing in your rightful place as the creator declaring wealth into being. This isn't arrogance or delusion. It's an awakening to your true relationship with the universal creative force. Think about this revelation for a moment. The difference between declaring and begging isn't just semantic. It's the fundamental distinction that determines whether abundance flows to you or continues to elude you. When you beg, you're affirming your separation from what you desire. When you declare, you're acknowledging your oneness with the source of all prosperity. I remember the exact moment this transformation happened in my own consciousness. For years, I had approached wealth from a place of need, always feeling that abundance was something outside myself that I had to somehow attract or convince to come to me. But when I began writing 777 with the understanding that I was the creative force behind my financial reality, everything shifted. I was no longer the supplicant. I was the sovereign, the author of my experience, declaring what was already mine by divine right. This shift in perspective, from supplicant to sovereign, is the true metamorphosis that makes the 777 code so incredibly powerful for financial manifestation. It completely rewires your relationship with wealth at the most fundamental level. You're no longer trying to get something from an external source. You're expressing something from your internal creative power. Now, let me share a practical aspect of this practice that dramatically enhances its effectiveness. After you write 777 with clear intention and feeling, place that paper by your bed where you'll see it first thing in the morning and last thing at night. This isn't just a reminder. It's a sacred anchor that keeps your consciousness aligned with wealth throughout your manifestation period. Each time you look upon those numbers, take a moment to feel the deep rest of financial completion. Feel the profound peace that comes from knowing your abundance is secure. Feel the quiet joy of having your needs not just met, but exceeded. This continued visual reinforcement of the code maintains your alignment with wealth consciousness during the critical gestation period of your manifestation. The power of this visual anchor cannot be overstated. Your mind is bombarded daily with thousands of images and messages that reinforce lack consciousness, bills, news about economic uncertainty, conversations about financial struggle. The 777 paper by your bed serves as a constant counterbalance to these influences, a sacred symbol that keeps you centered in the reality you're choosing to create rather than the one being broadcast around you. I've witnessed the impact of this simple practice in the lives of thousands. One client shared how the 777 paper by her bed became a touchstone that completely transformed her relationship with money. Each night before sleep, and each morning upon waking, I would look at those numbers and feel a deep certainty wash over me, she said. After a few weeks, that certainty became my default state. I no longer had to remind myself to feel abundant. I simply was abundant. If you're ready to step into your sovereign creative power rather than remaining in the position of a supplicant, write Creator Mode Activated in the comments. I'd love to connect with those who are ready for this profound shift in identity. As we've journeyed together through the profound principles behind this simple yet powerful practice, I want to acknowledge something important. If you've stayed with me until this point, it's not by accident. There's something within you that recognizes these truths, a part of you that knows you're meant for more than financial struggle or limitation. Tonight, as you take that piece of paper and write 777 with clear intention and deep feeling, remember that you're not just performing a ritual, you're acknowledging a profound truth about your relationship with abundance. You're declaring that you are not separate from the source of all prosperity, but one with it. I create these videos because I've witnessed firsthand how these principles transform lives when properly understood and applied. If the insights we've shared today have resonated with something deep within you, I'd love to have you join our community of conscious creators. Subscribe to the channel and you'll receive new revelations and practices that continue to deepen your manifestation journey, each one building upon the foundation we've established today. If this message felt like it was speaking directly to your soul, simply write "divine timing" in the comments. I'd love to connect with those who are meant to discover these principles at exactly this moment in their journey. And if you found value in what we've shared today, a simple like on this video helps others who are searching for these same truths to find this message at exactly the right moment in their journey. There's a video right here that explores the next level of this practice, how to combine the 777 code with a specific visualization technique that amplifies its power exponentially. Click and continue with me there as we take your manifestation practice even deeper. Remember, the treasure you seek isn't just coming to you, it's already flowing from within you. The journey continues.